and I'd like to introduce, his name is John Chodack, and he was a board member for Crossref for a while. He's a board member on DataSite now and works for CDL, and he's going to talk about a great new initiative. You're going to hear a lot about it, Metadata 2020.
That's right. Okay, so yes, my name is John Chodack, and I'm here to talk about Metadata 2020. So I think we heard a little bit about it earlier today. Metadata 2020 is an initiative that is focused not just on helping publishers and other content providers and brokers to create deposits, but also to think more about the actual quality of the metadata that we are depositing. So I was just going to talk through, introduce the project to everybody, talk about our goals and our mission, and also just start a discussion about it so that everybody here understands in more detail what the next steps they can take back with them. So it is truly a collaboration. So Metadata 2020, although we have a lot of representation from the publishing community and from the Crossref community, it is a collaboration across multiple communities. As Jeff was mentioning, I am on the board of DataSite, and there are a lot of data producers and data repositories that are on this collaboration. But we're also reaching out to funders and researchers and a lot of other constituents. And our goal really is to focus on three main areas: to create metadata that is richer, connected, and reusable. So richer, we know that within our deposits and the way that we share metadata about our content, that sometimes we set up a feed and then we walk away and we or put it on autopilot, and 5 years down the road we're still submitting the same information to Crossref or sharing the same information about our content to to outsiders, and it's not always the best metadata. The quality can be low. We haven't filled out all of the fields, but also metadata changes, right? So we have a lot of requirements that are new or evolving that we have not gone back and updated. That is something that is important for us as content creators to focus on. Second, connected. So we also know from many of the projects that we've heard from today that metadata really creates a map. As Jennifer was saying earlier today, we're trying to create a map of all knowledge, all research knowledge. And through the connectedness of our metadata deposits, we are creating that over time. We need to make sure that that map is as quality as possible. And reusable. So we need to make sure that the information that we're giving is properly licensed and is available for sharing, and also can create an effective way for us to be able to communicate with other parties, be them human or machine. So what is the goal? So Jenny has a great quote. Really we're trying to demonstrate to all the parties involved in this metadata tool chain that they have there's a place for us to focus on when it comes to metadata that is about making it better. So not just about meeting a threshold, but always striving for better. And really when that happens, everybody benefits. We want to make sure that we understand that there is a true ROI, a financial ROI and a community ROI when it comes to increasing the quality of our metadata deposits. And this is not just to say that metadata itself is just a means unto itself. It's that we have a lot that we're enabling through our metadata deposits, and we need to make sure that we are feeding that system with quality information. And so a lot of the times when we talk about Metadata 2020, groups will think, oh, is this another initiative about another metadata standard? There's a lot of metadata fatigue out there. I work at a library now, and there's a lot of librarians who are focusing on perfecting metadata schemas or working on interchange systems for sharing metadata. And this is not an initiative around that. This is really, and it's not an initiative about perfecting Crossref or DataSite XML feeds. This is an initiative about raising the quality of information that's fed through all of those types of metadata standards. But as we know, standards are things that everybody wants to perfect on their own. It's not something that people necessarily like to give up on. There's a lot of territorialness around metadata standards, and that is something that we want to kind of stay away from within this initiative, because there is truly a set of there's a set of value that we can create and we can share if we are focusing on metadata quality. So who's involved? The core team includes Jenny, myself, Claire, Paula is here as well, and Ed. But it's really a team across many different communities, as I was mentioning. So we have publishers and nonprofit funder organizations, we have government funder organizations, we have librarians, we have people globally involved in this initiative. And really, we've been breaking our initiative down into multiple pieces, thinking about this from a community-by-community basis, on a community-by-community basis. So we have funders, service providers, data publishers, article publishers, librarians, researchers, and we're working on building business cases from each of those perspectives. And so the story I like to tell is that when I first started in this industry, I was working in production within a book publishing company, and when I was at a management team meeting thinking through what we would like to work on within our roadmap, the next kind of cool projects, should we work on, people would turn to me and say, well, what do you think? What do you think is the next thing? And I'd say, well, it'd be great for us to clean up our back file. It'd be great for us to go and clean up all of the metadata records we had from our past books. And everybody would roll their eyes and say, that's ridiculous, there's no money in that. What do you want to do for the future? And so what I think we want to do with this initiative is to start building business cases and stories for people like me back then to be able to illustrate what the value is so that people will respond differently in the future and see the value of good metadata for all of our content. So we've been building these stories, we've been identifying the barriers and defining the problem statements. We are doing this on a community-by-community basis, and we are thinking through not just this as a challenge for a technical challenge, but also a language problem. We have found that throughout, by working with the different communities, that there is different ways of different terms for describing the same thing, and in many ways we're confusing ourselves because of that translation issue. And so we're wanting to build some user-friendly, kind of community-friendly business cases for everybody to share within their organizations and with each other to try to tackle this problem of metadata quality. And we're really looking for support. So as I said before, this is a cross-community effort. We're looking for support across the publishing community, but also through back into your organizations and your institutions. Really, we want to tackle questions like, what is it that we are considering when we say metadata quality? So when you are depositing with Crossref, what is the metadata that you're sending? Do you know what the metadata that you're sending is? Do you have any clue what is currently being fed in? Do you know that whether or not affiliation information is being sent over? Do you know whether or not you've opted into sharing your references? But it's also, can we learn more about striking a balance between consistency and flexibility? Can we demonstrate the value to ourselves and to our organization? And also, how do we go upstream to researchers and authors and talk to them about the systems that they are using for submitting information and articles and how it ties to the metadata quality issue? And really, we want to think about us as creators and users and what we are as not just publishers of content, but also publishers of a metadata knowledge map. So in the end, it's really in everybody's best interest to focus not only on compliance of submitting information, but also on the quality of information that we're sending. Thank you very much, and if you want more information, there's our website at metadata2020.org. I was trying to go fast. So. Any questions? So there really is a way for everybody to get involved. We are working in individual groups, different community groups, but also we're trying to build a list of almost like beta testers, of people who would be interested in circulating some of the business cases that we've created and sharing them to their organizations to see how that works. All right. Okay, thank you.